Hello everyone, in today's video I want to talk about 3 psychological tricks you can use to make yourself better in any conversation. And the best part about all these is that they can work on absolutely everyone. It doesn't matter how old they are, how experienced they are, how, successful they are in whatever field. If they're human, these work. Now, for me, the reason why I learned these is because I never felt the best in conversational settings. And as a result, I kind of felt like I had to be thinking too much in order to have a good conversation. However, once I spent some time to sit and learn about social dynamics and communication, I then stumbled upon various techniques, some and 3 of which I'll share today, that helped me in conversation to make the conversation more fun for myself, but also for the other person, leaving us both with a more positive experience. And so all of these tips typically revolve around one thing, and that one thing is empathy. Empathy is very, very important when communicating with someone else. Reason for that is because people like to know that the person that is talking to them or that they're speaking to is hearing them. People need to feel heard, they need to feel understood, even more so on an even deeper level. And so being able to empathize with other people is very important. And we do this naturally with other humans. However, to be able to do it intentionally is when you then step up your communication to another level. And so the first tip, first trick is mirroring. This one's kind of fun. Basically, mirroring is when you say the last 3 words of a sentence that someone else has said to you. So if someone says, after you ask them like, how was your day or whatever, they tell you, oh, I got a promotion. You say, oh, you got a promotion? If you say the last 3 words, what's going to happen is they're going to start talking about it. And in that case, it's kind of obvious to continue about it. But let's say it was even something simpler like, oh, I was walking my dog. Say, oh, I was like, oh, walking your dog? If you say just that, they're going to think, yeah, went to the park, we went around here, went out on the block, it was fun, it was good, he was happy today, it was great. You start continuing because he feels excited about the fact that someone is listening to him. You're effectively telling that person, I'm cluing in and everything you're saying is important to me and I'm letting you know I'm listening. Just that alone is very subtle on the surface. However, it's very deep, and we do this naturally when we're in conversation. However, to do it intentionally sometimes is very important to elicit a positive response in the other person. So next time you're in a conversation, make it low stakes, whether it's dinner with friends or family. Someone says something, intentionally mirror them to see what happens. It's pretty cool the first time you do it. Now, the second one kind of goes off of the first one, but it's the 80-20 rule. And now I know there's an 80-20 rule for absolutely everything. However, in this case, in communication, the way it applies is that you want the other person to be speaking 80% of the time and you want you to be speaking 20% of the time. And the reason for this is because of the fact that people like to talk about themselves and about the things they're doing and the things they're interested in. People sometimes like to listen to other people. However, if you can get someone to talk and continue talking about things that they're excited about, they're going to walk out of that conversation in a far, far better state than they were coming into it. And so this is another level of empathy, of getting the other person to talk and share and make themselves feel like the center of someone's attention, right? Whether it be just you or if it's other people. If they're the center of someone's attention, they feel special. And now you may be wondering, in that 20% that you should be talking, what should you be saying? The majority of it should be questions, just asking questions, getting deeper. Like, what do you do? Why do you do it? Do you enjoy doing it? Oh, like, what'd you do? And whatever. There's questions you just keep asking for them to keep talking. And every now and again, it would be a good idea to also add some sort of personal anecdote on how it relates to you, right? And that's very important to then make the connection so that this person feels like, oh, not only is this person listening to me, they're interested in me, they're also adding in how it relates to them. And they're not going to be thinking that consciously, but subconsciously, they're going to be thinking that, and allows the conversation to riff off very nicely. And the person's going to walk away and think, yeah, that guy's super nice. I love talking to that guy. It's because they talked about themselves the entire time. And so it's a little trick for that. Now, third one, this one's a bit more difficult to do. You have to be able to read people a little better. However, it's called labeling. And labeling can be used in a variety of different ways. The way I like to use it in most situations is I like to state the way the person feels after they said something. So if they said something and it makes them feel, say, upset, it's like, oh, it sounds like this is upsetting you. And it sounds like a very obvious thing. However, it almost takes mirroring to a deeper level, because you're not mirroring just the words that they say, but you're trying to label and bring to the forefront the emotions that they are feeling from something. And when you can label someone's feelings accurately in a conversation, it makes them feel as if on a deeper level that they are being understood and validated. Because if you sat there and said, oh, like, what's wrong with this, when there's something that clearly makes them feel upset or emotional, whether it be happy on one end or a good emotion or a more negative emotion, if you don't validate it, then you lose that empathy. They're not going to want to talk to you anymore. They're not going to want to share with you anymore. But if you label it properly, even if you label it incorrectly but somewhat along the same path, they will then correct you and still feel very much heard. So now, all of these things in conjunction, it might be a lot to do, but try the mirroring. Whenever someone says something about their day, say the last 3 things, the last 3 words, and see what happens. And then in the next conversation, intentionally, without making it awkward, try to be the one that asks the questions and gets the other person to talk, and ask about their day, ask about what they did, how they did it, why they did it, how they made them feel. All these things, there's so many different questions you can riff off of to get the other person to talk and to feel good about sharing everything with you. And lastly, if you can, on occasion, within that conversation, identify and label how they feel or how they might feel in a situation, say they're talking about the future, then that'll allow them to feel even deeper connection and will make them feel even more understood, and will solidify in their mind, this person is listening to me. Because people need to be listened in a conversation. If you want to ignore people, you're not going to get far in conversations or in any communication setting or with any sort of relationship building. So that's it for today's video. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.